My crazy college roommate. I was accepted to my dream university and started my freshman year at the naive age of 18. I was 2 hours from home, but still in the same state, and no one from my cornfield of a town attended the same university. I was so excited for a fresh start, but also pretty nervous to be away from my family and my home. The university wasn't any Ivy League place, but it did offer both degrees I wanted for a double major. Anyhow, the dorms for freshmen were subpar, and they had communal bathrooms. If you have ever shared a bathroom with a bunch of women, you'll know why communal bathrooms are a mistake. My randomly assigned roommate never showed up to the college, and for the first month or so, I had a small room to myself. These rooms were just big enough for 2 twin beds and 2 small wardrobes, so I was glad for the extra space and privacy since curtains and walls between the beds were not allowed. My peace was shattered one day when I was woken up from a nap between classes to the RA unlocking the door with 2 women in tow. The daughter, a college freshman like me, was very loud, energetic, and extroverted, whereas her mother was reserved, quiet, and seemed ready to leave. I learned that they had given her the empty bed, and she'd be moving in. Great, no more privacy, and my nap was interrupted, but I knew the no-show would be replaced eventually. Let's call this new roommate Tia. I am an introvert and face medical conditions that leave me in chronic pain and fatigue, so her hyper-personality was a bit overwhelming at first, but she was in the same major as my first degree, so I hoped to at least be friends. Yeah, that hope didn't last long. She had a wind instrument that she decided to use constantly in that tiny room. She could not play a single note, and it sounded like a literal banshee. But the RA eventually had enough and shoved her outside with the wannabe flute every time after that. Then came the mace incident. I am a small person who at the time was barely 5 feet and 100 pounds. So, yeah, I carried mace. I had a mace pen and a mace sprayer, and she asked to borrow a pen. She hit the wrong button and released the whole canister in the room. Did I mention the vents in the building were connected for each floor? The building was promptly evacuated for a couple of hours to be aired out, and my bed sheets were less than salvageable. Still, I assumed Tia wasn't malicious, just a little airheaded until the phone calls started. Tia was dating a football player from a different university, but regularly used Tinder to find other guys to piss the boyfriend off. In fact, she left me in the room with these random Tinder guys on speakerphone to go shower all the time. Her phone was always on speaker mode, with the volume maxed out, and it became increasingly obvious Tia did not have an inside voice. This lasted for hours, every day and every night. Sleep was becoming scarce, and I begged her to step in the stairwell or something, at least. I think that made it worse, because she started watching movies on full blast, until the witching hours, and even fell asleep with her phone still playing. I no longer liked The Lion King after being kept awake by it for weeks. Then her boyfriend threatened to show up to murder me because I begged her to knock it off with the noise, as did our neighbors. I reported him to his school's police department and learned he was suspended from classes and football. This is when things escalated from inconsiderate to evil. I locked my medication in a safe because I didn't trust anyone, and I started to find dents, scratches, and damage to the safe as if someone was trying to open it. My clothes were showing signs of being rummaged through. She dumped her trash on my bed every day. She ruined my microwave and mini-fridge, and I started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I stopped eating anything that had been in the dorm and stopped buying groceries. I stuck to meals I purchased in the cafeteria and started feeling better. Weird, but maybe I was stressed, right? Wrong. The RA found bleach and rat poison under my roommate's bed, after other girls started complaining of stomach-related issues whenever they accepted food from her. She was poisoning us a little at a time, but covering everything with so many spices we couldn't tell. I freaked out and called the university police, who did nothing. She started assaulting me in my sleep. Punches, tickles, slaps, whatever she could do in passing, even if I wasn't asleep. I was miserable and desperate to escape, and even contemplated jumping from the famous 12-story library we had at the university. My final week of the semester, I broke down and stayed in a hotel room before my final exam just to sleep. I moved everything out with me, and the RA did a final check to see she had torn open everything that could have possible had my stuff left in it. Even the bare twin mattress was thrown off the bed springs. Needless to say, I was given a private room when I returned the next semester, and I never knew what happened to Tia. I heard she terrorized roommates at other universities, but I have no idea if that is true. I still can hardly believe some stranger poisoned me for asking her to turn down the volume. Not can I understand why her boyfriend, who I never met, was ready to murder me because his cheating girlfriend didn't like me. Even accusations of racism were thrown in, but quickly dismissed when it was uncovered that the only ones slinging slurs were Tia and her boyfriend. I have diagnosed PTSD now and slept with a taser for months. Even now, I still have moments of pure panic when I see the most mundane things because of my brief living situation. My microwave, fridge, and safety lockbox didn't survive, and we actually had to use a crowbar to retrieve my medications from the extent of the damage. I know this story sounds insane, and some of you are probably wondering why the RA, the police, and the university didn't do anything, and honestly, I don't know why they didn't. The university covered up many incidents that occurred on the campus and downplayed many deaths and other issues while I was there, so maybe it was to avoid a PR issue. Thankfully, the professors were very understanding and kept a close eye on her for the few classes we shared that semester. Still, I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't gotten away. And I pray I'll never see her again.